What is going on, everybody on YouTube? Steve here, Raiken Profit, getting hydrated before the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you guys. In today's show, we're going to be talking about, and I've got some notes on my other screen right here, 11 things that changed in the reselling industry over the last 4 years. So I've been a reseller on platforms such as eBay. I was a merchant seller on Amazon, an FBA seller, Craigslist. I also have my own Shopify store now. So I've been around the block for about 4 years now, going on 5, and I've seen quite a few different changes going on in the business, over the span of about 4 years since I've been in it. I know a lot of you guys have been in it for longer than that, but I wanted to throw out and mention and talk about 11 things, right? 11 changes that have been happening in the reselling industry, the reselling business, the reselling community as a whole, and just have a little talk slash conversation with you guys. And my goal of this show and what I intend to make my mark with, right? My goal and purpose of the show is to just bring about the different things that have been happening to, especially help the new sellers so they know what they're getting into, but also to drive home my point that things are always changing, right? There's only one guarantee in business, and that guarantee is the market's going to change. When you're selling on third-party platforms such as eBay, Amazon in particular, right? Obviously, Craigslist has a couple little changes, but mainly eBay and Amazon, which are mostly the most popular platforms. There's one guarantee that these things are going to consistently change. And I want to talk about some of the things that I've noticed over the last 4 years. So I do have a second monitor up and running right in front of me. So if you see me looking straight, I'm not trying to ignore you. I'm just looking at the comments. Let's see. Sonia saying hello. What's going on, Sonia? Matt Dresner, clearing clutter for clarity. Clap, clap. Good to see you here. Tino, the Soul Advisor. What's going on? Rachel Fletcher saying hello from Oklahoma. Vintage Made. What's going on? Raymond, FY Dad 420. Just got my accounting rolling. Now's the time. April 15th is going to be right around the corner before you know it. Eddie Willis, Crystal, a bunch of people in the comments right now. So 90 people watching live so far within the first couple minutes. So I want to welcome you guys all to this live show. If you're not already a subscriber to this channel, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know that you're in the comment section, and I'll be checking the comments periodically to, shout people out. So let me get my handy dandy little notes up on my screen, and let's talk about the 11 things that changed in the reselling industry over the last 4 years. So the first thing that I've noticed, definitely a big change, this has definitely revolutionized the reselling industry, especially on Amazon over the last 4 years, is the evolution of the scanner and smartphones. When I first started reselling, I didn't have a smartphone. Actually, probably the first, 3 to 6 months, I didn't even resell with a smartphone, which was good and bad. I'm sure I lost out on a lot of opportunities, but that forced me to know what I was doing when I went into the field. I spent a lot of time at home studying the sold listings, researching brands, watching the few videos which are on YouTube, which is definitely another change over the last 4 years. But the evolution of the smartphones, and especially the scanners, the apps, the softwares, people are going out into the field now and they are equipped. They are ready. They've got, it used to be Profit Bandit. Everybody had Profit Bandit. And what was another one they used to have? NitoScan, which is still out. But Profit Bandit was like the big scanner app, and then it changed over to, I know people were using, and people still use Chris Green's app, but the Amazon Seller app came out and kind of like wiped out a lot of these apps in a sense, and most people use the Amazon Seller app, but definitely the evolution of scanners, of smartphones, of apps, the speed and the efficiencies that go along with analyzing and making a decision whether you're going to buy an item or pass up an item has increased, 100x over the last 4 years. And, when I first got started, there were apps, a lot of third-party apps, and people obviously still had smartphones, but things have like just ramped up significantly. So that's definitely a big change that I've noticed over the last 4 years. Number two, competition has increased significantly. More and more people are getting into the reselling industry, and especially on Amazon. A lot of people jumped on the Amazon bandwagon to hop on and get some of the treasures that Amazon FBA allows. But competition has increased significantly, especially at thrift stores, retail arbitrage, garage sales, a lot of the lower level sourcing methods. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. And I'm going to talk about barriers to entry a little bit more later on, within a different point. But competition has definitely increased a lot over the last 4 years. And that's not entirely a bad thing. It just means that you have to find different ways to go about your business, which I'm going to talk about later on. But you might be wondering why, right, Steve? Why has the competition grown so much significantly over the last 4 years? And I've got a couple reasons written down. Facebook groups. Facebook groups have blown up significantly. The reselling community on Facebook has blown up like crazy. That's all I can say over the last 4 years. The YouTube community has blown up significantly. A lot of people are being introduced to reselling through YouTube. I remember 4 years ago, there were like, 10 to 20 reselling shows, no channels, not even shows. And there was like one reselling show. Now there's like a million of them. So Facebook groups, YouTube, the various TV shows, right? There's been a bunch of different TV shows that have come on portraying the pawn shop business, the reselling business, storage auctions. All these things definitely contribute. The economy has contributed since there's been a downturn in the economy over the last 10 years or so. People have been looking for ways to make money, and especially to be able to work at home. So I think that's definitely contributed as well. And also the ease of just reselling in general with the introduction of Amazon FBA. And I know Amazon FBA has been around for a while, 8 years, 10 years, I think, at least 7 or 8 years. But especially over the last, 3 years in general, 2 years, FBA has really been introduced more so to the general public, and more people are getting into it, including myself. I remember 3 or 4 years ago when I first got started, I didn't really know what Amazon FBA was. And, I saw a couple people talking about it, but it wasn't really mainstream. And definitely over the last, 2 years, Amazon FBA has become quite popular and mainstream. So I'm going to look into the comments real quick and see what's going on. And then we'll move on to number 3. You're going to want to stick around for number 3 because this is affecting a lot of people. Mischievous Mal says, hey guys, this is a great topic. Glad you're enjoying it. Good to see you. Green room member in the house. Someone saying TV shows. Brick and mortar stores are becoming or slash going obsolete, which is definitely, contributing to more of the online reselling. Garage sale flips. Good to see ya. Chicago Crown Hustler, I'm doing really, really well. So let's dive into number 3. So one of the biggest changes in the reselling game over the last 4 years, but especially over the last year on Amazon FBA is the brand restrictions on Amazon. And I'm not entirely sure why so many brands are becoming restricted. And what I mean by that is, for example, 2 years ago, you can pick up pretty much any item at a retail store, any brand. Maybe it's a toothbrush brand, or maybe it's a grocery brand, or Nike shoes. And you used to be able to list that up and sell it, right? Certain categories were still gated off, but if you were ungated, you could sell it. Now it's becoming more and more challenging to sell these items because they're becoming restricted. They're not letting you sell, and they're making you jump through more hoops to be able to sell that item. So, for example, to become a Nike seller, I know that there's a whole process, paying money, filling out this, this spreadsheet or whatever, and I don't even know. But especially for new sellers, it's becoming harder and harder because, like, for me, I could sell Nike. I can sell a bunch of these brands. I'm still restricted in a lot of items, but Amazon grandfathered a lot of resellers into these brands to be able to sell them if you had sold them previously. So One of the big changes are brand restrictions, and it's becoming more and more challenging now to sell, a wide array of brands. And the long tail item is even starting to die in a sense as well. But we're going to talk about that a little later on. But number 3 is brand restrictions. Number 4, prices at thrift stores have increased a ton. Now, some people might argue this, right? Because, we all live in a different state. A lot of us do. I'm in Connecticut. You might live in Pennsylvania or Florida or California or Texas, right? But in general, prices at thrift stores have been increasing, and there's no doubt about it. I mean, obviously, prices in general are going to increase over time with inflation and different overhead expenses and whatnot. But when I first started, 4 years ago, I used to go into Savers, one of my favorite thrift stores, and I remember buying a piece of clothing for $2.99, $3.99, $4.99, and a lot of these items have doubled, if not tripled, in price. And to add on that point, you know, there might be an item like Gucci or Louis Vuitton or maybe a super rare Ralph Lauren item that, they might have sold for 10 or 15 back in the day. And that was like them pricing it high, but now they're getting smarter and smarter, these thrift stores, because, they're using the Amazon app. They're looking things up on eBay, and it's even easier with the smartphone that they're pricing some of these things that used to be 10, 15 at 50, 60, 150. So, prices have, significantly increased at thrift stores. But there's still a million opportunities, right? I'm making this video to talk about things that have changed. By no means am I making this video and talking about these points to say that reselling's dead or you can't make money. There's more opportunities than ever to make money as a reseller, but a lot of things have changed. And like I said earlier, there's literally only one guarantee that you can have as a reseller or just as an entrepreneur or a business owner. And that one guarantee is the market's going to change. Things are going to change. Rules are going to change. Things might become more expensive, less expensive, but there is no ifs and buts about it. Thrift store prices have gone up in general, right? I traveled the country about a year ago. I went from Connecticut down through Florida, down through the southern part of the country, through Texas, through El Paso, up north through California. I came back through the mid country. Prices have gone up in general. Now there's still honey holes. There's millions of opportunities. There's so many opportunities out there, but prices have definitely increased. And I'm going to take a little break, have a sip of some water, and look in the comments and see what you folks are saying. If you guys are enjoying this, be sure to give me a like, give me a thumbs up, guys. I appreciate you guys. I really do. I can't say it enough. Without you guys in my corner, motivating me, keeping me accountable, having someone to talk to, I don't think I ever would have made it in this business. And, just, been able to maintain and stay consistent and, not have to work a typical job. So I'm grateful for you guys. Thank you. Hustler Hacks, man. I'm grateful for Hustler Hacks, man. This guy is, a wealth of knowledge. He helped me out in so many businesses of mine, from Kindle publishing to Shopify to the green room to a ton of things with graphics, and just an amazing graphic designer and just a stand-up guy. So what's going on, Hustler Hacks? Patrick Martin, huge fan, love the positivity. Appreciate it, man. I appreciate you having you as a subscriber. Bill O'Tech says some thrift stores are competing by selling on Amazon. That's definitely another change. When I was going through the Carolinas, South Carolina, North Carolina, one of the changes that I noticed from a couple years prior was they were sending all of their books into Amazon, or they might have been doing merchant. I don't know, but there was like no profitable books, and there was like not really many books in general where I went around Myrtle Beach. And I've heard others saying that a lot of their thrift stores, I know Goodwill's on Amazon and they have their website. A lot of these thrift stores are selling on websites as well. They're doing a lousy job at it, but they're definitely doing it. New Wave says they have gone up. Thrift stores have gone up in price before they were giving it away, especially on half off days. You just have to be smarter while thrifting. Adjust what days so everyone can win. Exactly, and that's a whole nother video right there. I'll give you a little tip that my mother's doing, and I got her into doing this, and I've practiced this exercise before. And I don't know if I have the picture. I'm going to see if I can pull up this picture that my mother sent me. Let me see. Where is it? Here it is. So I got her doing this, and let me make sure I'm not showing anything I shouldn't be. Create a little notebook, and this is a picture that my mother sent me. Create a little notebook that is kind of like a little diary of what time you go to the thrift store. So this right here says Savers Manchester. That's a thrift store we go to often here in Connecticut. Monday, March 6, 2017. She went at 2:46 p.m. and she had some notes, found 5 new books, no people scanning, and girl put out books during visit. She was there for 56 minutes. So this is an exercise that I have my mother going through, and the benefit of this is because you could start to find trends. You can start to learn what days are most profitable for you at the thrift stores, what days you find that they're putting the most books out. She's a bookseller, so this pertains to books. What time is the most profitable, because at certain times at certain thrift stores, they're going to bring out their books, they're going to bring out their clothes, they're going to bring out various inventory. She also said no people scanning, right? So she's tracking when the competition is coming. So that's another way that you can get a leg up in your business, is find out when the competition is there. I wouldn't worry about it too much. But having a little diary like this can definitely help. And you can track how long you've been sourcing. So big thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up if you like Mama Profits, because she's killing it. She's definitely doing a great job. Jodine says, hello, getting paid to watch. So I think Jodine is at work right now watching some Raiken Profits. So definitely appreciate that. Hustler 24/7 says, hey, Raiken, just joined and love your videos. Hey, buddy, man, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Let's get on to, excuse me, number 5. Okay. So what's the 5th thing that's changed that I've noticed over the last 4 years in the reselling industry? This is what I've written down. The importance of niching down and building your skill set has become necessary for survival in the reselling game. With the increase of competition, knowing things that others don't and or building businesses in fields such as wholesale, private label, have become imperative to your success. So it's becoming more and more crucial to niche down. And what do I mean by that? And this is something that I did really, really well at the beginning without even knowing I was doing it. With clothing, I became a clothing expert. Now, I wasn't the best reseller in clothing. I didn't know everything. But if you were to, compare me to the next guy who's just a reseller who knows maybe a little bit about a lot of things, if he was going through the clothing rack, he would miss so many opportunities, right? And the same goes with, me when I first got started. And even now, if you put me side by side by somebody who is an expert in antiques or glassware, or maybe even like sporting apparel, right? Niching down even more with the clothing. Like if you were to put me up against Bonafide Hustler with, certain like sporting and athletic gear, I'm going to miss things and he's going to grab them. The same with, shoes. It's becoming more and more evident that the people who are making it and the people who are really leveraging their time and doing the best are improving their skill set, not only within a niche and learning as much as possible, but they're also going a step further and they're building their skill set in other aspects of the platform. So what I mean by that is you can sell on Amazon FBA by sourcing products at garage sales, and or you can sell at garage sales and flea markets, right? You could buy from flea markets, or you could build your skill set and learn how to source from antique malls, or sniping off of Craigslist, or online arbitrage, or retail arbitrage, or learning how to build relationships with wholesale distributors, or building up your own brand, or learning how to import products from China, private label them / white label them, whatever you want to call it, and selling products that way. The resellers who are becoming creative and thinking outside the box and investing in their business and doing things that are, how do I say it, a larger barrier to entry, right? It's more challenging to get into it. Those are the people that are succeeding. And I noticed that there's been a transition over the last 4 years from, a lot of people who are getting started, really smart people who are doing, thrift stores and garage sales. They found that they weren't getting as big of a bang for their buck versus transitioning or migrating into things like private label or wholesale or retail arbitrage or online arbitrage or building their own brand. So, thrifting is amazing, tons of money. Garage sales, I mean, tons of money. I mean, $500 to $1,000 profit in a garage sale weekend with experience isn't uncommon. $1,000 days with thrifting isn't uncommon. But it is becoming a little more challenging, and I noticed a lot of people have been migrating over to private label, to wholesale, building up their own e-commerce stores and whatnot. So that's definitely a trend that I've noticed. Let's see. Okay, so this is a big one right here. Number 6. Over the last couple of years, being able to scale your business with FBA has been paramount. It's been game changing, but things have moved on. Things have moved on to another level, whereas now people are leveraging their FBA businesses, and they were, getting a warehouse, and they were hiring employees to be able to ship everything out to FBA. The game changed completely, and this isn't something that I've done, but I'm sure I will in the future, is the introduction to prep centers. So there's a prep center called Prime Zero Prep. I've never used them, but I've heard really good things about them. And essentially what a prep center is say, for example, you source a whole bunch of, retail arbitrage items, right? You go to Walmart, you go to Target, Barnes and Nobles, and you source 500 items. Well, instead of you having to label all your items, prep all your items, box up all your items, ship them out to Amazon FBA, the introduction to prep centers has really become a game changer, because now a lot of people, they're sourcing everything, and instead of having to prep it, box it, ship it, all that good stuff that I just talked about, they're sending it all off to a prep center. And I think there's one, I think Prime Zero Prep is in what is it, New Hampshire, I think, because they don't have sales tax, right? Something like that. They're sending it all off to the prep center, and they're leveraging their time even more. So the ability to be able to scale your business with Amazon FBA has significantly increased, not only due to the prep centers, but the different softwares and apps that have been introduced into the reselling market over the last 4 years. So that's been really, really cool. Number 7, and this kind of contradicts in a sense number 6, but I'm not an expert in this field, but it's just something that I've noticed. Number 7 is the slow death of retail arbitrage. And by no means is it dead, but it's slowly dying off, especially for the new resellers. If you're an intermediate, advanced reseller, I don't think by any means is it dying, in front of your eyes, but I think that you see retail arbitrage aging. And I think you see retail arbitrage taking a hit due to different factors, such as increased fees, long-term storage fee increases, brand restrictions. It's just not becoming as easy anymore to do retail arbitrage. And I'm just looking over my notes right now. I really want to emphasize that the game has changed a lot for new resellers with retail arbitrage. Competition has increased significantly. And whereas before you could kind of let your stuff sit for a while, now it's almost like, in a sense, and I'm not an expert, so I'm kind of speaking from a place that I don't want to put too strong of an opinion on it, because I'm definitely not a retail arbitrage expert, but the competition has increased so much now with retail arbitrage that you could send something in for $25 in 3 weeks. If Target clearances it out, it could be down to $6. Competition has increased significantly on Amazon FBA. Price wars have increased significantly. The introduction of other software such as repricers has increased significantly. And for me with retail arbitrage, and again, I'm just an intermediate. When I send something in, I price competitively and I try to get it out quick. If I see the price dissolving super quick, sometimes you just got to take a loss. But retail arbitrage used to be a lot easier. there was a lot less competition. There were there were many less. What am I trying to say? There wasn't as much competition. Fees weren't as high, and the restrictions obviously is a big thing right there. I'm going to jump into the comments real quick and see what you folks are saying. Marco says, I buy mostly grocery and clearance. Very cool. I've heard a lot of people succeeding with grocery. Josh says, can newbies still make money in FBA? If so, what is the best avenue in FBA to start? You know, of course, you could still make money with FBA. I think diversification is key. Going to thrift stores and garage sales is probably one of the best ways to start FBA, but I would be very cautious of going deep on an item versus wide. And what I mean by that is instead of buying, 20 of a particular SKU, I would buy 20 SKUs of one item or, 15 SKUs of, and get maybe 4 or 5 each. Things haven't really changed in that aspect. I mean, you can still buy pretty much anything and send it in Amazon FBA, whether it's shoes, if it's not restricted, clothing, if it's not restricted, toys, if it's not restricted. Obviously, moving into the more advanced things such as grocery, getting ungated in grocery, getting ungated in health and beauty, different things that cause you to increase the barrier to entry, things that most people are going to pass up. I think that's a good way to get started in Amazon FBA. Books is a great way to get started on Amazon FBA, but I'm going to be talking about that very shortly as well because the game has changed when it comes to selling books as well. But Josh, just get started, man. Just get started. You can do it. Tons of items out there to buy and sell. So here's a good comment from New Wave K5. Good to see ya. If you look for the easy items that everyone knows, then chances are they are gone, which is true in a sense, but I still find easy items all the time if you go out. But people, places give away money all the time. That's a great point. It's up to you to know what and how they are giving it away. So I think what New Wave is saying is you've got to figure out, how are they giving away these things? Like, for example, Salvation Armies and Goodwills, they run sales all the time. They give away things at great deals. Savers they have these promotions and discounts on a regular basis, and they give away items dirt cheap. You've got to find your way to source items at a good price. And the game's changing. It's becoming a little more challenging, but there's more and more ways than ever to make money as a reseller if you're creative, if you think outside the box. So I just want to put that out there. eBay has more fees if you include PayPal, correct? Yeah, PayPal's been increasing their fees as of late. Excuse me. I'm just scrolling through the comments real quick. Let's see. So Rhino LA says, what do you mean when you say platforms? A platform is, in my terminology, what I mean by that is a place where you sell your items. So platform is Craigslist for selling locally. A platform for selling online is like eBay or Amazon or whatever website you use, Etsy. Garage Flip says, I almost cried when I saw I was restricted for Lego. I think a few people shed some tears. Do you think it's worth starting FBA if you have never done it? Yeah, I think it's worth it. I think there's tons of opportunities. If you're willing to think outside the box and work through some of the restrictions, and if you're willing to get ungated and you're willing to learn and really stretch your mind and, put everything you have into it and do things differently, I think Amazon FBA is the way to go. But if you're looking for like a turnkey business, you don't really want to learn, you don't really want to deal with massive amounts of change and competition, and you don't like following the rules, Amazon ain't for you because there's a lot of rules and changes happening on a regular basis. Let's dive into the next change that I've noticed over the last 4 years. So just to go through them, Number one was the evolution of the scanner, the smartphones, the introduction to a lot more apps and softwares to increase the speeds and efficiencies, especially on Amazon. Number two was competition has increased as a whole in the reselling industry because of Facebook groups, YouTube videos, YouTube channels, TV shows, downturn in the economy, and the ease of reselling with softwares, apps, and especially Amazon FBA. Number three, brand restrictions have changed crazy. It's been crazy how many brand restrictions have been coming up on Amazon FBA. Number four, prices at thrift stores have increased a ton, no doubt about it, across the board, all over the country. Number five, the importance of niching down and building your skill set has become necessary for survival in the reselling game. With the increase of competition, knowing things that others don't, and building your business in fields, advanced fields such as wholesale, private label have been become imperative. Number six, prep centers have been introduced, which have made it much easier for resellers to scale their business. Number seven, the slow death of retail arbitrage. Number eight, number eight. I'm talking quick, guys. Whew. Number eight, information overload on YouTube. There has been, and I don't know, I know this doesn't really have anything to do with the reseller business, but it kind of does in a sense. The reseller YouTube community has like blown up like crazy. That's number eight. There are more and more YouTube channels sprouting up each and every day. There's more and more really good value coming up. I mean, there's resellers coming up like Rockstar Flipper, Reezy Resellers, Reezy Resells. What's that other girl's name? I forgot what her name is, but there's like quite a few like really big YouTube channels popping up, and with really good information. There's more content information out there than ever before, and I could honestly say that now I could really say that information isn't going to be the reason why somebody wins or loses or succeeds or fails in the reseller industry. Um, the winners take the information, they apply it, and the losers take the information and just don't do anything with it. 4 years ago, I could have said, the big difference between the winners and the losers, and obviously taking action has always been important, but I could say 4 years ago, one of the big key factors in, someone doing $100,000, a year versus 15,000 was knowledge, right? Because if you knew about Amazon FBA, and you knew about, retail arbitrage and online sourcing and different things like that, when there wasn't a lot of competition, that could have been one of the really big deciding factors in, your success. But all the information's out there now, guys. There is like an abundance of information out there, like really good information. Obviously there's some bad information, but I don't think there's like a ton of bad information out there. Like there's a lot of people in the reselling community who are like spot on, and they have really good advice. But another thing I've learned is there's like a million different ways to skin a cat, right? You could succeed on Amazon FBA a million different ways. You can kill it on eBay a million different ways. There's tons of different products. There's different business models. There's different strategies such as, private label, wholesale. The list goes on and on. But information overload is definitely one of the biggest changes now, not only on YouTube, but on Facebook. There's so much information out there. If you want to succeed in this business, you've got to take action, and you've got to follow, try following just a couple people, because everyone's going to give you a different opinion. Everyone's going to tell you what's the best way to make money on eBay or Amazon. And like I said, there's a million different ways to skin a cat. The ninth thing that's changed, and this has been a great improvement on eBay's part, is eBay has made an amazing app. I love the eBay seller app, and it's really improved, especially on the iPhone. It's become easier and easier to list your items on eBay directly from your phone. And if I could have gone back in time and had the technology now and the eBay app up to date from 2017 back in 2014, I think I would have made a lot more money on eBay. I think I would have listed a lot more items, and I think my life would have been a lot more easier versus the the old way that I used to do things with the point and shoot camera, taking out the memory card and inserting it in the camera, uploading all the photos, cropping them there. It would have made it a lot easier to outsource the listing process with my employees back in 2014, 2015 with the eBay app. So eBay's done a great job. They've made a lot of changes. eBay was kind of screwing over a lot of the sellers a couple of years back, and they've made a lot of changes not only with their rules and regulations, but have made it a lot easier now to become a top-rated seller. Although it might become a little more challenging now with the spring update, but I haven't really studied the new spring update too much, so I can't really touch on that right now. But the eBay app has been game changing, and I've really been loving the eBay app. Number 10, the 10th change that I've noticed in the reselling industry over the last 4 years is the book market in particular on Amazon FBA is becoming squeezed. They're squeezing it. Both ends, you're getting squeezed. You're getting squeezed on the thrift store end. If you're sourcing from thrift stores, the prices of books are going up. They've doubled in my area, at least at Savers. They've gone up 30 to 40%. At Goodwill, in my area, they're staying the same. But, you know, when I was in California, it had gone up a lot. That just might be because it's more of an expensive area to live. But book prices in general, if you're doing things the way that most people are doing it, but you know, going to thrift stores, prices are going up. I'm not sure about the book sales and whatnot. There's a ton of different ways to source books, right? But we're being squeezed. If you're sourcing from thrift stores to get books, you're being squeezed not only on the thrift store end, but you're being squeezed on Amazon. And you know, you see this, you see the space right here. This is the profit. Before, you know, things used to be out like right here, right? You'd have the thrift store price, and then you'd have the Amazon fees. You had the awesome long-term storage deal that they had, which pretty much stated if you have more than one SKU, you're not going to be charged a long-term storage fee. And I believe the long-term storage fee used to be like a year. Now the thrift store prices are increasing, right? In general, where I live, it might be different where you are based on how creative you are and how you're sourcing it. So the profits got a little smaller. And then Amazon increased, Amazon introduced the long-term storage fee from like a year down to every 6 months. Boom, there's an extra fee, especially if you're a big seller. And then just recently, they even they added some restrictions. So let's move that in a little more. And a lot of books are being restricted for one reason or another. And then they increased the Amazon fees. So, you know, it's the margins are shrinking. I know they put a lot of those bulk booksellers out of business. I don't know the details of that. But the book selling markets, the book selling game's changed. Still a ton of money to be made, but you have to find books that sell for a lot more money, or you have to get the books cheaper. And the whole long-term, long-tail storage, utilizing the FBA storage units, warehouses for long periods of time, that's dead. That has died, unless you have a book that's really selling for a lot. So that's been a big change. And number 11, this is what I wrote down. From falling in love with Amazon to going back with your ex. Do you know who your ex is? eBay. Big change I've noticed over the last 6 months in particular is a lot of these, romantic Amazon sellers are coming back to the eBay game because of the increase in fees, the restrictions. People are getting suspended. People are getting booted off. Amazon's a place where you've got to follow the rules, and if you don't, you're gone. So you know, a lot of the new sellers are being challenged with selling on Amazon just because of the restrictions, being gated off, the fee increases, the long-term storage fees. So more and more sellers are going back to eBay, I've been noticing, and or they've been moving on to more advanced strategies of selling on Amazon, right? Like I said before, a lot of these garage sale sellers, thrifters, flea market folks, you know, retail arbitrage folks, online arbitrage folks, they're moving on to different strategies and business models such as wholesale and private label. So those are the 11 changes that I've noticed over the last 4 years in the reselling industry. And I'd be curious to hear what you guys think about these 11 changes that I noted. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section of any changes that you've noticed over the last 4 years. I did put a post recently, in the green room asking folks to weigh in on what they believe has been the the biggest changes over the last 4 years. And here's a comment from Terry saying, eBay platform being overtaken by foreign Chinese sellers and making it much harder to compete. Got a comment from Glenn Zubia. These are all green room members. Fees and restrictions, Amazon and shipping costs, USPS. For eBay, I remember first class was super cheap. Margaret says, opportunities are growing so fast, I can hardly keep up with them all. It's definitely a big change. There's more and more ways to make money online. And I know Margaret's really big into Amazon merch. Mo says better technology, various tools, etc. Barriers to entry are changing. Q, what's going on? Q says better sales report tools, so better ways to analyze your analytics. Brandon says more people are selling online. Also, more selling platforms have emerged. So there's definitely more places to sell other than just eBay and Amazon now, right? OfferUp is definitely competing with Craigslist now, and there's quite a few other ones. Craig Morris. Now, Craig Morris is a very respected member in the green room. He's been a green room member since, from the beginning. He's an OG. We like to call him the OG, strong powerhouse seller. Craig Morris says more competition on the retail arbitrage level, harder to ungate on Amazon for new sellers. So it's harder to get into these categories such as grocery, health, beauty, shoes. Well, I don't know, shoes. I don't know if that might be easy still. Clothing, different things like that. Q also says usually when there was a higher expense that affect the whole market, business adjusts to it and increase the price of their item to cover it. So there's been a lot of changes that have been going on, and I just wanted to bring this up to you. The purpose of this is not to scare you. The purpose is to bring to your awareness that things are changing. Things are always changing. Things will always change in business, especially on these third-party platforms such as eBay and Amazon. And your willingness to adapt and to change and to grow with these platforms is going to be crucial to your success. And if you're willing to grow, if you're willing to change, to try new things out, to experiment in a, not only in an economy, but, in a business where, things are always changing rapidly. Softwares are changing. New apps are coming out. You've got to be willing to learn. You've got to be willing to grow. You've got to be willing to take the time to figure out different things if you want to take your business to the next level. And that's really one thing that I prided myself on, is the willingness to try new things out, the ability to adjust and to adapt. And while I'm not perfect and I've made a ton of mistakes, I'm always experimenting. I'm always trying new things. And, I'm a pretty young guy, and, regardless of your age, right, it's never too late to get started. It's never too late to try something new, and to learn something new, and to see how it works for you, right? So I'm going to dive into the comments over here and see what some folks are saying. Jodine has given some tips for selling on eBay, and I agree with this. Use words that describe your item, brand first, color, pattern, size, then just wait until the special person who is looking for your item. That's definitely one thing I agree with. It's becoming more and more important now on eBay to make sure that you have a really amazing listing, right? Have a good description, have great photos and pictures, nice details, measurements. Jodine was talking about the title, right? Put the brand name in the title, the color, the pattern, the size when you're selling clothing. Use good keywords that are going to help you to rank. It's very, very important to have a good listing now. Just looking through some of the comments. If you guys are enjoying this video, we have 145 people watching live. Be sure to show some love and hit the comment. Hit the like button down below. We have 144 people watching live, but only 68 likes. Come on, guys. I know you could get up to 100. You should definitely get up to 100. I do want to go through a little bookkeeping. The green room event is actually scheduled right now for July the 12th to the 15th. So if you want to come visit us and a whole bunch of other resellers, there's going to be about probably over 100 resellers in Austin, Texas. Go to greenroomuniversity.com/tickets. And you do have to be a member to attend the actual event, but it's going to be open to the public Wednesday, Thursday night, and Friday. If you want to come hang out with us, we're going to go thrifting. We're going to do some swimming, hiking. We're going to have a ton of fun. Check that out, greenroomuniversity.com/tickets. If you're a Green Room member, we have a seminar that we're running that's included in the ticket price and the dinner price. So check that out. If you want to get our free book, 100 amazing items to resell, take a look down below in the description. That's a free guide that we've created sharing 100 of our favorite items that you could sell on eBay, Craigslist, OfferUp, Amazon. That's a free download. But yeah, we appreciate you guys. And when I say we, all of us in the comments section, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for all the positivity and all the great conversation going on in the comment section. It's definitely been a ton of fun. I will go through a couple more comments because there's a lot of people watching live, but I just want to get a little housekeeping out of the way. Let's see. Jodine says, "Hey, Raiken, I want you to be able to say this brand correctly. Air Min Jil Do Zeg Na." I said it wrong. Ermini Gildo Yegna. That's how I like to say it. Hey, Jodine, if you come to the Green Room meetup, we'll take some time. We'll hang out. You could teach me how to talk properly, how to pronounce all the brands. I could use like a crash course on how to pronounce brands and just how to talk in general. New Wave is saying, "Smash it, people." Thanks, Raiken. Appreciate it. Mal, good to see you. Hustle and grow. I don't know most of you, but we are all one big family. We are all here for the same reason. We're here to learn, guys. That's it. Stick together. So it looks like there's a lot of just conversation between you guys going on in the comment section. So I think I'm going to head out. I do appreciate you guys. If you did like this video, like, comment, subscribe. If you're not already a subscriber, subscribe, and more videos like this will come directly to your feed couple times a week. We do have a show going on tomorrow on the Bonafide Hustler YouTube channel, Green Room Show, with one of our members of the Green Room, Daniel Finnemore, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. And he recently bought a business because of the profits that he earned from his Amazon business. And I think the business is called boxofmaine.com. And we'll be talking about that at tomorrow night's show, 8 p.m. Eastern time. But yeah, until then, guys, have a great day. Go make it happen. Today's the day to make it count. And I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks again, and peace out. Bye.